Siberian Express has a destination set to invade the continental United States as we enter December. And what does that mean for lake effect snows like this across the Great Lakes? Find out more coming up next. Hey, welcome back to the channel, my fellow weather junkies. I'm your host, Greg Majeski, your personal weatherman here with a special update on the Siberian Express, that Arctic air that's going to be invading the continental United States as we go into the month of December. We're going to get that first bout coming in as we head to after Thanksgiving and then kind of getting progressively colder after that. Now, the map I'm going to start you off here with first is we're looking at the sea surface pressure anomaly map here. Now, usually when we look at cold Arctic air invasions, we're looking at high pressure anomalies, okay? And they typically are the higher the high pressure, the colder the air core is coming down with it. So what I'm going to take you through here as we're looking at the latest European model here is we're going to see that initial invasion come in, that first area of high pressure coming in as we kind of look toward Thanksgiving. So coming in toward Thanksgiving after the 28th, we get our first kind of push of the cold air coming in there. And as we look here, as we look at it beyond the 7-day period, we're going to get another one coming down as we head toward the 1st and 2nd. And you'll notice here is that each one of these pressures tend to go up. Like if you look here toward the 2nd, for example, you're looking at a 1046 high pressure system coming in out of Canada as we head toward the 2nd. But as we go further out in time, as we go further out, we've got these kind of one shot after another and after another. Here comes another one coming down toward the 6th and 7th. And this one, boy, and going into the night, it gets progressively higher. This one's showing a 1055 high pressure system. So each one of these Arctic invasions, the Siberian Express, will follow one after another, and progressively colder conditions across the continental United States. So now we're going to start out by taking a look at the temperatures here on Thanksgiving morning. Now we are going to have a brief warm up, a little milder temperatures here across the southeast, but that's going to be very short-lived as we're going to get a push of cold air that's coming in across the eastern portion of the country behind a storm system. It's going to bring some rain into the southeast and maybe some potential snows across areas of the Midwest and going through Ohio and into the northeast as we go into Thursday and Friday. But we're going to track this cold air here specifically here as we go in through heading into the 1st and 2nd of December. So let's go ahead and take this forward here in time. The one thing you're going to notice is just how much of this below zero temperatures. And when we're talking about below zero temperatures, this is on Saturday, on the 30th. We're talking about this color hue right in here. This is temperatures that are running below zero. And this is going to be invading into the northern tier of the United States. And its impact will be felt further and further south as well, with freezing temperatures going all the way down to the Gulf Coast. So as we go ahead and take this on through, as we go into Sunday, going into the 1st and going into the 2nd, here this is Monday morning, we're seeing quite frigid temperatures here across the southeast, getting a lot of 20s in here. You're seeing below zero temperatures up here. We'll go ahead and highlight a couple of these here. Let's go ahead and look at the eastern region of the United States again. Somewhere like Atlanta, Georgia, looking at about 23, 25 degrees. Chicago looking at 15 degrees there. Louisville, Kentucky, also sitting in the teens, up near heading toward, say, Duluth and getting into below zero temperatures there, up around Minneapolis, for example. Also look at temperatures down around near zero. So we got some very frigid cold temperatures as we head toward December the 2nd. Now, as we go ahead and pull back out here to the continental United States, we'll take this further out. Again, as I was saying, one succession out of the other. At least that's what the long-range model projections are showing right here as we get progressive. It starts to moderate the 5th and 6th a little bit, but still generally kind of chilly across a lot of the country. Then we're looking at a really bad Arctic outbreak here. Again, as that 1055 high verifies heading this far out as we go into, say, Sunday morning. And check out some of these numbers. Go back here again to the east. You're seeing getting down into the low 20s down into Atlanta. We're talking down there, freezing down to the Gulf Coast. We're looking at single digits. Look at this. Single digits here across Ohio and Indianapolis and Indiana. You're getting temperatures down near zero near Chicago with this as we head toward, we're talking about December the 8th here. So again, this is a long-range projection. Always it's subject to change. It may will a little bit. But again, looking at model continuity here, we've been seeing this continued progression of showing these cold air continuing to invade the United States. Let's look at the central region here and looking very, very north central. Check this out. Look, seeing a lot of areas here as we head toward Sunday, December the 8th, showing a very large swath of teens below zero, 10 to 20 degrees below zero across North Dakota, a great portion of heading into Minnesota and going into Wisconsin as we're looking at that quite frigid cold temperatures. Now, the big thing here, folks, and this is very important, important. If we're going to get this kind of cold air that's going to be moving in, and it looks like it's moving in this direction, you're basically looking at some very cold air that's going to be moving over some very warm lake temperatures, which means you're going to get a significant amount of lake effect snow. Against that cold air picks up that moisture over the lakes and drops it over on the leeward side of the lakes, and you're talking about a tremendous amount of snow for areas like, say, in Cleveland, going up toward Buffalo, and areas interior sections of Pennsylvania and into New York State. So we'll be looking at the potential there of some very high lake effect snows. So we're going to take a look at the latest European model as far as the precipitation, as we're going to be tracking a couple of systems that are going to be making their way across the United States. We'll have the initial push that'll kind of cool things off across the Northeast and into New England. And then we'll watch another system coming in on Thanksgiving Day, and it'll be that system that may drop some additional snows there across portions of the Ohio River Valley, and then really start to kick in that lake effect machine as we go into heading into the 1st and 2nd of December. And that's could be the start of a series of storms that could potentially drop even more significant snow totals as we go further out, going into that first week in December. So let's go ahead and watch this again. Watch that time stamp there in the upper right hand corner here as we watch this initial system come into the northeast and here across the southeast. A limited precipitation with this, but we are getting that colder air coming in toward the areas of New England into the Midwest. And then we got our next system on its heels behind it. This one will kind of move in, coming in here toward the middle of the country, and it'll tap some additional cold air as well as we go into, say, beyond Thanksgiving, going in toward, say, Black Friday on Friday, heading toward the 29th. So here we go. We say goodbye to that system and get that initial cool down there across the Great Lakes as we head into the middle of the week there on Wednesday. And then we'll watch a little more significant system. This one's a little more robust. Now the freezing line's sitting right in here. So anything north of this line in here, this is going to be snow north of that line, okay? And plain old rain there into the southeast. So as we go in through today on Thanksgiving Day, while the rain's across the mid-Atlantic and snow's kind of going through Ohio, portions of Pennsylvania, and there across New York State as this low begins to get a little more robust and kind of move up toward the northeast. So we'll get some snows there across New England, and then we're seeing that cold air kind of setting up there. And as I take this all the way out, so heading in toward your Saturday, one thing you're going to notice is you're seeing these plumes here starting to develop. Again, that's that cold air moving in over that relatively warm lake water, and that'll be your lake effect snows that'll get started as we go into going to Friday and going into Saturday as that cold air kind of moves in across the lakes. And again, that'll be the start as we're wrapping up the month of November, and we'll be looking at December. And as that colder air gets progressively worse and blows over those warm waters of the lakes, we're going to see even more lake effect snows. Let's take a look at those initial totals. Okay, let's talk snow totals here as we're going to be tracking that system again going into Thanksgiving Day. That's going to be moving in across areas of the Midwest. So we're going to talk specifically across Indiana and portions of Ohio first, and then this will track up into the Northeast. And again, we'll get some heavier amounts there across portions of Pennsylvania and New York as we go through this upcoming next weekend. So again, looking at the snows there coming into early Thanksgiving morning across portions of Ohio, and this will track into Pennsylvania and into New York as we go throughout the day on Thursday. So a pretty good, robust snowstorm potential here across areas of New York State, getting into Vermont, New Hampshire, and eventually getting into Maine as we go late in the day on your Thanksgiving. And those will continue to pile up. You see all that pink up there, so we're talking about 8 inches plus, and a few areas up in Maine could potentially see, over a foot of snow showing up there. And then, of course, we'll watch the lake effect really start to kick in here as we look long term. Again, we're looking up here across Michigan. So we're talking about areas there across New York State getting more significant with that snowfall totals as we go into this upcoming Thanksgiving Friday, and then wrapping up as we head into your Saturday. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's go take a look at New York State, for example, as far as potential snow totals here as I go ahead and zero this out. Again, look at the heavier lake effect snows here blowing here, showing up over a foot of snow here, potentially across some of the interior sections of New York State, looking over a foot for large sections of Vermont and New Hampshire with this next storm system coming on in. And again, this could be just the start of what could potentially be significant snows that'll be accumulating as we look at that Arctic intrusion coming upon several waves as we go in through the first week of December and getting around the 8th or 9th. And that'll do it for this special update here on this Siberian Express, this cold Arctic air that's expected to come into the continental United States and get progressively worse as we go into the first week or so of December. Now, you folks in the West, I think, will start to get a little bit of a break, but especially those across the eastern half of the United States, if you've been kind of wanting some cold weather, it's definitely coming. Be careful what you wish for, because it's definitely on its way. So if you like to stay up on the changes, because they're going to happen, they will, and if you like to get those updates, please, I invite you to please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content. And as always, if you got a comment, got any feedback, please leave it down below. Give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate your support of our little growing channel here. All right, that's your update for now. You guys take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.